What are the sign conventions for heat in thermodynamics? Imagine you have a cup of hot coffee. When it cools down, heat leaves the coffee and goes into the air. But how do scientists keep track of whether heat is coming into or going out of a system? That's where sign conventions for heat in thermodynamics come in. They help us understand and write down energy changes clearly. In thermodynamics, heat transfer is described with signs to show the direction of energy flow. The most common rule is, when heat flows into a system, it is considered positive. This means the system gains energy. For example, if you heat water on a stove, the heat energy added to the water is positive. On the other hand, if heat leaves the system, like when the coffee cools and heat escapes into the air, it is negative. This indicates the system is losing energy. These signs match with the first law of thermodynamics, which says that the change in a system's internal energy equals the heat added minus the work done by the system. So, if heat is added, the internal energy increases and the heat is positive. If heat is removed, the internal energy decreases and the heat is negative. This way, the signs help keep track of energy flow in a simple and consistent way. Think about it like this. If you are heating a pot of water, the heat you add is positive because it makes the water warmer. If the water cools down and releases heat to the surroundings, that heat is negative because the system is losing energy. This rule applies whether you are heating, cooling, or doing any process involving heat transfer. In processes where no work is done, like heating a sealed container, the heat added directly changes the internal energy. When the container expands or contracts, work is involved, but the sign rule for heat stays the same. The heat entering or leaving always follows the same sign convention: positive for entering, negative for leaving. The direction of heat flow always goes from higher to lower temperature, following the second law of thermodynamics. In heat conduction, the sign convention is linked to the temperature gradient. Heat flows from hot to cold, and the sign indicates whether heat is entering or leaving a particular region. Using these sign conventions makes thermodynamics easier to understand and work with. It's a simple rule. If heat enters the system, write it as positive. If heat leaves, write it as negative. This helps everyone stay consistent and clear when analyzing energy changes in all kinds of physical and chemical processes.